Do you recall the oaths that once united Claire Beauchamp and Jamie Fraser through conflict and time? Now an older generation, or rather a new one, hears those blazing words, blood of my blood, bone of my bone. The first 2 episodes of Starz' Outlander, Blood of My Blood, begin with a thunderclap of legacy, longing, and deadly love politics rather than a whine. A Highland storm is forming, patriarchy, politics, and passion. We meet the Mackenzies in Castle Leoch, who had recently lost their patriarch, Red Jacob Mackenzie. In addition to grief, his passing causes a terrible power vacuum that drains Ellen Mackenzie's lungs of oxygen. Sharp, obstinate, vulnerable, and emotionally accurate, Harriet Slater portrays Ellen with a gentle fire. Her grief is that of a lioness imprisoned by clan politics, not that of a maiden sobbing by the fireplace. Her brothers Dougal and Colum, who are portrayed by Seamus MC Lean Ross and Sam Redford respectively, with spooky composure and flaming rage, appear determined to push the clan into a marriage compromise or civil war. In an effort to bring this warring family together through some sort of diplomacy, Ned Gow and Connor MacNeil alternates between being a lawyer and a loyalist. In the meanwhile, letters that ignited hearts in London. We switch to the Beauchamps in episode 2, Claire's mysterious parents. Through redacted letters and battlefield confessions, Jeremy Irvine's hauntingly sincere portrayal of a cynical British captain named Henry, and Hermione Corfield's outstanding performance as a suffragette and war censor, Julia, begin a love tale. We see the development of 2 weary hearts that dare to hope in something eternal as their letters progress from formal to ardent, and their correspondence is beautiful without ever being corny. It would be appropriate to frame Julia's statement, "I could spend an eternity in the dance of our words," or at the very least have it permanently inked on someone's rib cage. While their final encounter, kiss, and hasty marriage are pleasurable, the real reward is emotional. We witness the beginnings of Claire's fiery independence and intelligence, which are already ingrained in her mother. Going back in time, secrets, servitude, and Simon Fraser's eerie home, the tone darkens as Julia is thrust into the 18th century and becomes a slave in Simon Fraser's house. Simon, played by Tony Curran, is reprehensible in every manner. He is charming like a snake charmer, but never far from being hideous. He treats Julia in a cruel manner. However, the show refrains from portraying her as a helpless victim. She doesn't want to. She makes maps. She makes plans. Julia and Brian have a strong bond that is protective rather than amorous. He witnesses her bewilderment, accepts her account of looking for her husband, and even endures physical suffering in order to protect her. And rather than fate, Julia is bound to the Fraser name by this common feeling of obligation and compassion. Will we be broken or bind by this blood? The show has a beautiful visual style. The lighting, scene, and costumes are all almost perfect. Outlander's visual identity is maintained. Pacing, however, is still a problem. Episode 1 is purposeful but sometimes slow, like a game of chess in a swamp. Some sequences drag on for too long, particularly Ellen's political altercations, which occasionally repeat the same themes under different lighting. Even if everyone gives excellent performances, some characters, like Jocasta and Murtagh, are underutilized and serve more as props for the future than as active participants. The temporal whiplash in episode 2 may potentially be confusing to viewers who are unfamiliar with the franchise. It would greatly benefit from a little more narrative clarity. History is not a backdrop, however, and Blood of My Blood conveys this with heartbreaking honesty. Love either endures or perishes on this battlefield. This is clearly alchemy. Outlander, Blood of My Blood weaves a tapestry of suffering, politics, and desire between the whispers of war between Julia and Henry, and the Highland fire between Brian and Ellen. Although it isn't flawless, it is truthful. And that's what holds our hearts together in a series that is based on impossible love.